As a general rule, when I pick up a new hobby project, I start off with a very simple question. Does this look interesting? Does it look fun? The intention is generally that I'll give the project a little coverage in a video or two maybe, decide if I like it enough to want to have a deeper look, and from there decide if I still like it enough that I want to keep it on the fun shelf long term. And whilst this is typically a solo affair, at least up until the point where I'm out there looking for opponents for whatever new game I'm playing, my long-suffering partner Jenny does once in a while like to join in with me. The problem is that our shared hobbies, whilst broad enough to include animals, exploring British heritage, both making food and mercilessly devouring it, and much, much more, they don't often overlap into areas that make for fun and interesting miniatures games. Except we both happen to be huge wrestling nerds, particularly enjoying the British independent circuit, as well as marking out for AEW and Impact Wrestling over in America. And you might remember that a while back we did our first ever battle report on the channel, using the miniatures board game Aristeia, which Jen is also a big fan of. So when I caught wind of the fact that there's a board game out there with similar play mechanics to Aristeia, but based around the concept of professional wrestling, you better believe we were both hype. So with that in mind, I ordered some stuff, and now it's time to share with you our experience of Rumbleslam. Okay, the first place I want to start is by looking at what's in the box of this £45 starter set. Oh yeah, by the way, the 2-player starter set is 45 quid. On top of that, individual models range from about the £6 to £12 mark. It's a pretty cheap game to play. There's also these really sweet boxed ready-to-play teams for about 25 quid on the TTCombat website. It definitely passes the affordability test. So upon opening the box up, we see a rulebook, obviously, a bunch of cards, acrylic tokens. TTCombat often include acrylic, and we get this rolled up neoprene game board. The rulebook is also really nicely printed. It kind of has a comic booky feel to how it's presented. Your box will also include some baggies containing the miniatures, but I've already got mine put together, so they're not inside the box anymore at the time of filming this. The minis themselves are pretty simple one-piece affairs for the most part, with a characterful but very easy to paint approach to the design. And this is actually really nice because it means you can just go for some super fast and dirty painting on them if that's what you wish to do. If you just want to get them ready to play in no time, kind of like the attitude you'd usually take towards a big boxed board game, stuff like contrast paint is going to work really well here because the sculpts are just stupidly exaggerated with far more muscles than there should ever be on a person. However, on the larger, more impressive models, I don't think anyone would be mad if you were to go for the approach of painting a bit posher, maybe breaking out some cool technique like I tried to on this troll, or just slowing down a bit and painting more carefully like I did on the ogre. And as well as the cool box teams and the individual minis, TTCombat have also made a really smart move here with how expansion of Rumbleslam works. They have products like this amazing MDF ring, which provides not just a premium board, which is, just a nice feeling thing to have, but it's also a great introduction / onboarding point for their MDF scenery offerings. Really smart stuff from TTCombat. And it's not just about those engaging minis and cool accessories either. The gameplay for Rumbleslam is actually really solid and a lot of fun. It has crowd mechanics, it also has face-to-face mechanics much like Aristeia, but they're maybe a little bit safer. Your attacks only really get severely punished in cases where you roll terribly and your opponent rolls the nuts. It feels like you're in really good control of how you're playing and what you're trying to do, and that feels excellent for someone like me. The rules overall felt comfortable after a turn or two of gameplay, and by the midpoint of the game, Jenny, who's the non-gamer of the two of us, was confidently making moves and executing game plans, so it feels pretty easy to pick up. Overall, as a way to spend an hour or two with your beloved, Rumbleslam was really fun. Jen and I had a really good time with it, and we intend to keep playing it. However, as a game to commit to form leagues around perhaps, to have fun nights in with groups of friends playing an elimination tournament, that's where I think it might actually be at its best. The vibe for me kind of felt like Bloodbowl, but safer mechanically, and maybe just based on a subject that I'm a bit more interested in as well. I don't think that I'm unbiased as a result of that, because I do like American football, but I definitely prefer wrestling. Wrestling is a pretty central part of my life. It's one of the main things that I waste time doing, watching on TV. I go to shows and that kind of thing. So perhaps if you're a similar type of personality where you really love pro wrestling, but you also love games like Blood Bowl, I think that's where this is really going to appeal. After all, professional wrestling is at its best when it's wacky, ridiculous, larger than life, and full of wow moments. And I think we can all agree that a minis game that can recreate that is sure to be a really good time for all involved. With easy to paint minis, characterful looks, simple but engaging and very fair rules, and some swag accessories on the side, this one's a real hit for me, and is a game that I think we're actually probably going to keep playing for a really long time. And this is actually the second game in my little TTCombat mini-series that I've been doing at the moment, with the previous one being a video covering Carnivale, which, if you enjoyed this video, as well as giving it a like, maybe considering subscribing to the channel, you can also check above and I'll link the video to Carnivale if you want to look at that. I'll try to remember to link it down below in the description as well. I think all that remains from me for this one is to say thank you very much for watching and to wish you happy hobbying. I will see you in the next one, folks, so bye bye for now.